And yes, welcome to another episode of Espresso Sesh, live from the Mission District, San Francisco, California. Here we are with Teao Sense, Audiopharmacy. Welcome. We're listening to his music right now.
Give thanks for having me, Nino.
You're welcome, Teao. Teao Sense, musician, producer, DJ, cultural, figure here in the Bay Area. Since the early 2000, with the Audiopharmacy, there is music. It's a band, but also collective, focus on civil rights and.
It's undefinable.
Undefinable.
You could keep trying.
Keep trying. Yeah, you guys have a lot of releases out since the early 2000s, and it's still active as a band, still touring. So there is a lot to talk about this. And also we're going to talk about your side project as a solo artist, because you had a concept album, something that we don't see that much these days, no? Like concept album, no?
Yeah, definitely not with all the social media and ADD going on.
Yeah.
Nobody's really dropping full albums with a cohesive plot.
Yeah.
So the new vinyl, it's on vinyl, it's called Moment. And I don't even call it an album. I call it an audio cinema.
Audio cinema, yeah.
Because it has a plot from beginning to end.
Yeah, and also it's actually now audiovisual opera, no? Because I can hear Nick Rouse here in the background. Shout out to Nick.
Yes, medic.
So yeah, it's an audiovisual opera, no? It's a multimedia.
Yeah.
Work, no,
Yes.
because it's like audio cinema on the music, but also it comes with a short movie with it. How long is that?
So it's about 45 minutes long. There's so much to this project. It really just started as self-expression, and through a tough time in my life, I actually went on tour in Europe, and I broke my wrist in Switzerland. And then I pushed through.
I couldn't play. You couldn't play without. Yeah.
Well,
you figured out something.
I figured.
Okay.
I ran into my friend Mabu actually, and we drove all the way from Switzerland to Berlin, and she comes into this dark room. I was at DJ Word's house, and I was laying down, just stressing out, wondering how I'm gonna finish one week longer a tour. And she comes in. She's like, "Teao, I haven't seen you in a year. What's going on? I heard you busted your wrist. Let me see it." And I was so scared I couldn't even move my wrist. I had like a bone dislodged in there, and it was all swollen up. And so she's like, "I've been training with my master on the mountain. I want you to come with me right now." And I went to her apartment, and she pulls out a big stick. And she told me this is going to hurt a lot. And she started smacking my wrist with the stick. I had a broken wrist. And she just beat the hell out of my wrist probably, 50, 100 times until I had my eyeballs roll back in my head. But I actually was able to start moving my fingers. So she bruised me all up, but it actually got the circulation going. And I flew out to London the next day. And she told me to keep grinding my knuckles into the bone she could feel popping in and out. And the couple days later I played bass, opened up for Cool Keith in London, and then we played a full concert on guitar, the whole band. I usually play guitar in the band and production, and sometimes bass and scratches, turntable scratches. And we played with Maccabee, the reggae artist. And then I came back to California, saw a doctor. He looked at me. I told him that story. He looked at me like I was crazy. He said I need surgery right away because what it was doing was healing crooked with the bone dislodged. It was in this funky position, and it actually healed that way. Coincidentally, it's the same position I need to play guitar. So it's kind of like bent forward like that, So I was able to get it this much movement, but it's stuck like that now. So I went. He told me I need surgery right away. I told him I tour in Africa tomorrow, and I left for Africa and I got mugged. My first day in Africa, I took machetes to the head, and I ended up, basically fractured my skull, near-death experience. So after that tour, after that whole summer, it was probably the roughest summer of my entire life, to be totally honest with you. I still stayed out there, and I stayed in Tanzania and Zanzibar for 3 weeks, came back to the States, and I released Moment, which is a very different album than any of my other projects.
Yeah, if somebody's listening and think that the music, it's not that dangerous if you play music.
I don't know. I'm starting to.
Accident can happen, no? But it's never gonna. But yeah, and also magic, like black magic. There is some like curanderia stuff, santeria stuff over there, no? Because there is not just one way to solve the problems or figure out solution. No?
Well, I was at the wrong place at the wrong time. I was out after I just flew in. I travel a lot. I'm not really scared to walk around, but they told us don't go around walking at nighttime, and I did. It was about 11 o'clock at night. And sure enough, I got mugged. Africa was beautiful after that. Everybody I met was super amazing and lovely, welcoming. I had a great time. I was teaching turntablism out there too, with Ahmad Lewis. He was teaching an MC class. Ahmad. He does the 90s hip hop anthem. Back in the day when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore, but sometimes I sit and wish I was a kid again. Back in the day. You don't know that one?
No, man, I grew up...
yeah, that's like a...
I didn't grow up listening to hip-hop. Also because I grew up in Italy, so it wasn't... It wasn't... hip-hop wasn't that popular over there, in English especially, growing up. So, yeah. So... But anyway...
Yeah, that was crazy, man. But Africa was lovely, so don't get it twisted. I just want to add that, all my African brothers and sisters that I met out there took good care of me, and I learned, as Mazunga, you gotta you gotta walk with the local brotherhood. So.
Yeah, but all this intense moment was the birthplace of Moment, no?
Yeah,
the concept album. So probably you had some times on your own just to heal up and recover, no?
When you have a near-death experience or a very traumatizing experience, I think it makes you take 3 steps back, and then every step forward is a little more careful, and you start to be more aware of anything in your life that's not serving you. So yeah, it took a little time to I had to get wrist surgery after that, so I had to lay low that year. This is maybe 2 summers ago. I had to limit the shows I was able to do because I had to get surgeries on my wrist, multiple surgeries, and then but meanwhile, Moment was what came out of it, and it's dedicated to my grandmother, Grace Wong. She is she's Buddhist. She's Tibetan Buddhist, and she was very good friends with the 16th Karmapa and the reincarnated 17th Karmapa. They both call her Amala, which is mom.
Okay.
So that the Moment project is dedicated to her.
Rather rotten this dumpster than join any family of yours.
vision, how you see yourself going into manhood, how you want that to be. All right, I got that? Everybody got that?
And they mustn't go to jail. They mustn't steal anything. They must behave now. Behave like a man.
The silence is outside while I'm seeking the rhythm. Looking for truth inside the schism. Lately it's been hard not to give up. Clouded to the sun and make the rains fall. Silence is outside while I'm seeking the rhythm. Looking for truth inside the schism. Lately it's been hard not to give up. Clouded to the sun and make the rains fall. The silence is outside while I'm seeking the rhythm. Looking for truth inside the schism. Lately it's been hard not to give up. Clouded to the sun and make the rains fall.
And definitely we had a little preview of 4 songs of this album moment, Audio Cinema by Teao Sense. It's nice to like the sounds, we were talking before we were offline. It's definitely like some urban music, some down tempo, some hip hop, but it's like very influenced by like tribal sound and like world music or indigenous world music. Like actually, probably you guys kind of tag yourself, no, in your music, no?
Yeah, we do a lot of indigenous focus, indigenous work. I mean, just we're all over the place, to be honest, because we are not only we're not only a band, but we're a collective of artists. So there's about 25 of us, all family, and coming from a lot of different cultural backgrounds. So so a lot of people call us bridge builders because we really do, just bridge across like a whole assortment of different types of people all through conscious movements. So we do have multiple Native Americans in the group, so we do a lot of indigenous work in the Native community. Shout out to Desiree Harp, shout out to Raskadi, the Pomo Nation. I also do music directing here and there with an indigenous dance company called Dance Early, online on the front page of the website at audiopharmacy.com. So if you want to cozy up with your girl or your boo tonight, just throw that on and check it
Sit
out.
back and watch it and listen to it.
Yeah. So that's Moment. I could play you more stuff from Moment. I also have a new project I'm doing with Azim. He goes by the Cardinal Project.
Azim, the flute player, Azim Ward. Shout out to Azim, yeah, great flute player.
Yeah.
And he's also a visionary in his sound because he expand the possibility of the flute itself, no?
Yeah. Azim is an amazing producer as well. He's just a kick-ass flute player, flautist. First, but he got really into beats in the last couple of years. So him and I are working on a new project that's more beat influenced. Audiopharmacy albums are usually with vocals. We have a lot of vocalists in the group that are amazing poets, singers, etc. But there's also amazing producers, DJs, dancers, painters, live artists. The list goes on. Permaculture, teachers. It doesn't stop. Just with the music.
And all these people are kind of like in this container. There is Audiopharmacy prescription.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. You did your research.
A little bit. I did my homework.
So yeah, we do. We call Audiopharmacy is typically just it's the band, but then Audiopharmacy prescriptions is the overall collective. So if
with all the music production and all the production in general, no?
Yeah. So we do, we have a history of just being super diverse in what we do. Like it could be event coordination, it could be, it could be a live concert, but then it could also just be like a retreat, or we gather people together, and that's what music and art does. It brings community together, and I think that the people who usually become a part of the tribe are others that I refer to as unknown kin, brothers and sisters that we meet that are really on that same love path, that same goal, carried by just similar values and morals. A lot of connection is through the just taking care of the planet, Mother Earth, and then you could go as deep as politics and beyond that, but
But definitely there is a shared vision, no, among everybody in the collective.
There is, and in a collective, not everybody thinks exactly the same either, and especially when you mix together a lot of different cultures, you learn from each other different different ways of walking. So it's a beautiful thing when you can not be, when you leave room to learn, and understand that we're all not only teachers, but we're always students. We have to remain students. If old dog is not what you want to grow into.
Yeah, also because it's it's kind of pretentious to say like I don't want to learn no more. No? What do you say? It's every day you should learn something in general. No, like keep yourself open to
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's not a good attitude to don't be open to learning stuff and learning from others, especially.
And it's easier said than done. Some of us are we're just we're leaders, and it gets tricky for a leader to sometimes know when to humbly be the student, but there's always, even if someone's better at something than you, that they could still teach you something. They still know something that you don't. So, I'm a father. I have a 13-year-old and a 7-year-old. So my 13-year-old is a girl, and she's going through her teenage years, so she already knows everything. You know what I mean? So she thinks, But so that's just, it's all steps and forward motion.
I mean, that's the steps, like you said. No? Then she's gonna figure out that probably she didn't know anything, even if she thought that she knew everything. That's our life.
In the audio cinema, that's in there.
That's in there too. Yeah,
it's in there. Like it's the whole it goes from the birth. It goes. I don't want to spoil the plot, but the song that you heard with the crazy scratches, that one's called Self-Dumb. That's like the adolescent know-it-all ego, and then after that is Drift, and that was the song we just ended on, and that was kind of like kicked out the house and becoming your like becoming humbled by learning like, okay, wait a minute, like I don't really know ish, you know. So yeah, the next tune is Born Free, which is, first of all, has a beautiful video shot by U Films, Yusuf Salah. He works with AJ Plus, and then that song is about, it's really about in your learning process, you really need to always keep hope and enjoy what you're doing. You know, keep the love, or else you're not even alive. You know, even if you don't know your true self, you're still, you know, enjoying. So True Colors comes after that. That is finding true self, and then the character in the plot opens their eyes and their third eye, you could say, and looks outward and sees all the corruption in the world. And the next song is The Battle, which is the activism. So all this is in visual form too. You guys should definitely check it out. I don't know if you've seen the whole audio cinema yet.
I've seen a little bit. Yeah, I've seen from the one is on the Audiopharmacy homepage. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it goes on. It goes on.
Yeah. And you know, it's this was I mean, I think wasn't that easy to realize this project, not to make it happen, no, to make it like from your brain to like a physical copy, you know. It took you a while, I guess.
It took a while, but it was very organic. It wasn't forced. The industry teaches, you know, success in a way where if you want to blow up, you got to get like big names on the album and, you know, pay money to you know, just be to get well known fast. This formula had a couple rules, 2-3 rules to it. Number one, don't do anything that I'm not feeling, you know, like really just, it's self-expression, it's very pure. And number two, any collaboration on the album is people who I really feel are family to me, or just feel connection. And yeah, there wasn't an intention for money exchange for anything on the album, but reciprocity instead, and just good collaboration is a big one, because if you don't collaborate well, it's not sustainable. So, you know, like just to have that feeling, like if we work together on a project, then what are the rules? You know, good communication. We need to know that at the end of the project, we want to do it again, you know? So. And
we'll have fun also doing something together, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's, like I said, there's a bunch of different artists that did paintings for each song. So there's a lot of artwork that was done in there. I filmed dancers on my tours. I filmed a bunch of dancers dancing to the same song, the Battle. And I filmed in Cyprus. I filmed in DC. I filmed in Fiji. Yeah, Vow is the dance group in Fiji that's featured in there. And then also New Mexico, Dancing Earth is in there. Toys from DC is a really dope breaker. He's in there. Carlita Flores from the Bay Area, she's in there. Yeah.
And also, you did like a Indiegogo campaign, no? Like to support this album, like a Kickstarter or something like that?
You know what? We were going to, and we just never really kickstarted it off.
Okay. All right. So, my bad.
We did a few, what's it called? Like, I guess kind of opening, soft showings, whatever, premieres. But we haven't done a crowdfunder for it. We did a premiere in Manila, in the Philippines. We did a premiere in Hawaii, and we did one in Oakland. And all of them were very successful, and, you know, people want to know how they can support. And I've been so caught up in the creation of it that I haven't gotten so organized that I like to set up like a donation page or anything like that. But I think if people do want to support, I'm more interested in collaborators, if people, other filmmakers, animators, And yeah, anybody who thinks that they have connections to maybe even showing it to places, and yeah, collaborations. If people want to financially support, yeah, that helps too. Just buy the record online at audiopharmacy.com. You can buy the record. Comes with a digital download too.
Yeah,
And
there are
we-
two versions. There is one. There is a picture disc, and there
Yeah.
is a.
Yeah, so we went all out. The one that I just showed you is clear gold, and it also has the download card inside, and then the limited picture disc is this one right here, and this has the artwork across the disc itself. It has the embodiment on the cover done by Mama Wisdom One, and on the back, Martin Travers. He's an amazing mural artist.
Yeah, we can show this, I guess, right now.
Okay, here.
Yeah, we got some.
He
the
did this.
Technology is going on with us right now.
Yeah, he did the charcoal
It's a beautiful
On the back.
piece.
for the battle. Martin Travers, he's a master muralist. He's currently living in Nepal, and he does a lot of work with the Nepalese community over there.
Beautiful.
So yeah, these are available at audiopharmacy.com. You know, we already put up the credit card to get the records pressed up, and
Yeah.
the idea was to do a crowdfunder and whatnot, but you know, we just went all out, went for it, and if people do want to support, I mean, for starters, just listen to it, and if you enjoy it, share it. If you want to buy a record for you got a turntable, yeah, get a record. If you don't have a turntable, get a record anyways.
Get a record anyways. You can post it on the wall. Looks
'Cause-
so beautiful on the wall.
yeah,
You
it's-
know, like you know.
It's definitely a high quality product. We wanted it to be a timeless classic. Yeah, vinyl is not cheap to produce, and music and art just doesn't really pay too much in general unless you're performing, you know, constantly. So
Yeah, but you know the value, like it's with music is the value is another one. It's like a self-expression when you are able to, you know, like to put out a record that is like exactly what you wanted, the way you wanted, like with the collaboration you wanted, without going like compromising with the music industry, and you know, just doing something that is, you know, I think it's.
it has to be done.
Yeah,
It's
no,
priceless. You know,
priceless. You know,
It's gonna happen. That's why artists get paid last, is because we're born to create it anyways, and we're gonna be creating it anyways. You know, but my music career started from selling tapes and CDs in the street, and I was able to travel. You know, support myself traveling overseas. You know, at the age of 18, 19. I was already sustaining myself just through music, but with the birth of the internet, I mean, that was like late 90s. 99 was my first cassette called Records of the Specimen, under the name Teao Sense and Chaotic Souls. And yeah, I was like, I would hit the street 3 days a week, leave with 10 to 12 CDs in my bag, and I wouldn't come home until they were all sold.
Also, yeah.
Yeah, and I'd sell 10, and the other 2 were usually for giveaway, whatnot. But that was my quota, because I needed to survive doing what I loved. I knew that's what I wanted to do, and it took me places, more places than I was also teaching. And I eventually, 2002, I quit my teaching job, and I was making more money selling CDs in the street. And then I was able to, those seeds planted was getting me shows, and we went out to Amsterdam, and then we went out to Berlin, and then we started adding Austria and Japan, and all over.
Yeah,
Europe,
one thing at a
Switzerland.
time.
Yeah.
Starting with determination. You had to have will to you have to pursue your dream and work for it. Nothing fell on your lap like this from the heaven.
Oh yeah, but then when the internet hit, now nobody really wants to pay for a CD unless they live, in the sticks where there's no internet.
Unless they still have a CD player.
Yeah, exactly. And then Mac completely took that option out. So I actually want to make a CD that's just titled "The Last CD in Your Car."
The last CD, if you still have.
If you still have a CD player in your hoopty. But yeah, so we just went all out with the vinyl, and because vinyl, like you said, it's making a comeback, and it's just so beautiful to be able to hold something tangible in your hand and support a movement and get this beautiful art piece. And on top of that, for the DJs, there's actually at the end of the record, the last song it's called Karma, and it's the death, but it's also the rebirth. But at the end of a heartbeat is a flat line, and coincidentally, that flat line, it's a locked groove that goes on forever, and it can be used as a trigger for MP3s if you have Serato.
Okay.
So when you're DJing Serato, you need your control records. You could use this record actually as a control record to DJ all kinds of music. You
Okay,
rock
wow.
a party with it. Yeah.
And if you listen to that on a normal, yes, the high frequency, yeah, for that. Cool, yeah. So there is another reason to buy this record.
To get 2 copies.
2 copies. Besides, like the classic beat matching and stuff. You do with 2 copies, you can also have 2 Serato control vinyl. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Let's listen to another song from there or 2. Okay. You wanna do the if anybody's watching us on the video, you wanna play it? You play the video, or
you have the video hooked up?
Or you wanna just the video is like that. We should just do it like basic way.
Okay.
Flipping
turn
the
the computer
screen,
around? Okay,
or you
let's
just
do
play
it.
the audio. It's all fine for me. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's cool. We could do the
But it definitely better results. It's not gonna be the best result. It's just a way to.
All right. Well, let's see.
You're listening to BFF.FM, Espresso Sesh every Tuesday from 2 to 4 p.m. Teao Sense from Audiopharmacy is presenting his latest release called Moment, and it's a concept album. It's a multimedia work, and you're gonna try and play some, try and make a video happen also. Okay.
It's not about what happened in the past or what you think might happen in the future.
It's about the ride, for Christ's sake.
till the end of time.
The voice within is the closest to you. It is the radar that sets the course, steers the ship, guides the journey, if you but let it.
troops ready to start fighting. What you fighting for? Freedom of rights, that's what I'm writing for. Saying I'm freedom of rights, I said now. What you fighting for? Freedom and rights, that's what I'm writing for. Say it now, freedom and rights, that's it now. What you fighting for? Freedom and rights, that's what I'm writing for. Say it now, freedom and rights, that's it now. What you fighting for? Freedom and rights, that's what I'm writing for. Say it now, freedom and rights, that's it now. Freedom and rights, that's what I'm writing for. Say it now, freedom and rights, that's it now. What you fighting for? Freedom and rights, that's what I'm writing for. Say it now, freedom and rights, that's it now. Freedom and rights, that's what I'm writing for. Say it now, freedom and rights.
Revolution has come. Ultimate revolution has come.
Moving from being an individual existence to a universal existence,
in which suffering and ignorance is at its peak, and humans are divided and at war.
Nothing but misery, nothing but monsters.
What had I done to deserve a life of such continuing struggle?
400 years, 400 years, 400 years, 400 years.
I don't understand, it's not the same rules. We all have to follow the same rules. The rules have to apply to every man, woman, and child. It cannot be just for the rich or for the poor. If it is, there's going to be war. And that's what thug life is about. I'm showing you that when you oppress a people, all we're going to do is blow up in your face.
400.
You gotta snap some collars and let them just know you there to take them out. Anytime you feel like it, you gotta get the ground beneath your feet, partner. Get the wind behind your back and go out in the blaze if you got to. Otherwise, you ain't shit.
400 years, 400 years, 400 years, 400 years, 400 years, 400 years.
Deafness, blindness, drug addiction, alcoholism, severe accidents, a number of major life challenges. Drug addiction, alcoholism, severe accidents, a number of major life challenges.
These events are created by the combined consciousness of man.
I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful. We have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls.
Well, right now, you have a system or a system. But one of this country for your long ages times. 400 years, rule this little black country for your long times. Well, I come with earthquake lightning and thunder to break down these barriers of oppression, drive away transgression, and rule equality.
I, for one, will join in with anyone. Don't don't care what color you are, as long as you want to change this miserable condition that exists on this earth. Thank you.
And we've been listening to Moment. Actually, we also been watching the footage, the multimedia, this audio journey, this audio cinema, Teao Sense just made. And also, if you're a visual artist, if you want to contribute, if you're an illustrator, a visual artist, please reach out to Teao. And because this is an ongoing project still.
Yeah. I mean, I'm constantly productive, but yeah, definitely love to see. We're in need of not only financial supporters but animators. More importantly, I think we have Jive One from Los Angeles. He does a lot of the animations at the moment, but it takes a long time to do animation. And if anybody has animations that they're working on or proud of, or that they don't even know what to do with them because they just enjoy animating and they would like to collaborate, then give us a holler. You could always hit us up on social media or just straight email at thefarm@audiopharmacy.com, THEPHARM at audiopharmacy.com, PHARMACY.
Yeah. And let's go back on the music 1 second, because we've been listening to this album, and definitely there are a lot of influences from folk music worldwide, urban rhythm. How is your your production process? You play a lot guitar in your beats, but also there is also this element. So just briefly, don't get too deep into technical stuff, but just how do you make music? Yeah.
I think I make music off of emotion.
Yeah. Perfect. That's not deep on the technical stuff. That's exactly.
But I play guitar, but most of my songs aren't guitar songs. On stage, I play guitar in majority of the songs and scratches, but when I produce, I'm a collector. So anything that makes a sound, I like to fiddle with it, and I like to create compositions from just so many different types of instruments, whether it's percussion. If it's something I really want to make people move, I'll start with percussion, and if I just really want to let out some emotion, then I'll start with melodies. But or bass. I like playing bass actually more than I like playing guitar, to be honest. But the formula is constantly changing. It's constantly different. If you listen to this project, every song is a different genre, even though they're all very genre-less. They're genre-full, cross-genre, different tempo, different evokes a different emotion. I don't like to do the same sound as the last song I do. Like when I make a song, then tomorrow I'm gonna make another song, but it's gonna be different, But I don't know. There's still a Audiopharmacy Teao Sense signature sound, I think, because my ingredients are usually to have the organic with the electronic and the turntablism. So that I grew up.
Yeah, these are your three kind of
Yeah, I'd say so, and of course the consciousness. With all the. I'm not a singer myself, but the all the lyricists that I enjoy working with have a great message, in my opinion, something positive or something that's worth listening to for the youth, or just helping to change the world for a better place.
Yeah. It's another important thing that it's an add value to the music itself.
Yeah.
So it's an emotion that drives you to write a song.
Mm-hmm.
So you feel like and you follow that emotion and you translate it into music.
Yeah, I've started songs as simply with just one note, because I just find the note. I'm self-taught too. That's the thing. I don't, a lot of musicians, really amazing musicians, they just want to know the scale. They just want to know the key. I don't speak that language so much as just listening, closing my eyes and just finding a note that pulls me, and then the next note after that, and just keep building. And I would actually recommend that in people learning how to play an instrument, to just keep it simple at first and just build one note at a time, layers.
And how did you approach music when you first started? Why, how was your...
I was when I was a kid, I was into guitar. Like, I was inspired by these crazy rock guitar solos. I think that was like the, when I was like 6th grade, I was like, oh, I want to play guitar. But, I played guitar for a few years, and, learning cover songs, things like that, and just, going to the supermarket and getting a magazine and getting the tablature and, learning how to play these like corny songs. But when I was like, probably 15 or so, I got real into hip hop, like to a point where I just didn't even play guitar anymore. I started learning how to DJ and sample. I used to I bought a mixer from Guitar Center, like the Gemini with the little sampler on there, and then I'd take it home for 30 days, and then on the 30th day I go back in Guitar Center and return it and get something else, and I do that for months. They actually changed their rule because of me, because it was like 30-day return policy, and all of a sudden it went to 2 weeks, and then it went to 1 week. And so I was just just loving learning how to sample and make hip hop. There's a little fly hanging out with us. So, and then I really wanted some turntables, but I couldn't afford them. So I got a job doing college radio, actually, when I finished high school, and it was purely to access the techniques, the 1200s, and all I wanted to do was just have a pair of techniques, and I was actually kicked off of the radio station because I at like 2 a.m, one of the managers came into the studio and smelled the smoke in the studio and saw the beer bottles in the studio, and she's like, "Are you smoking? And you're drinking too?" Yeah, so I got fired from my first radio DJ job. But I got some turntables eventually, and I used to just practice scratching. Like, I come home from school with my backpack on, and I wouldn't even take it off. I'd just scratch for 2 hours and then run off to my next class. So I was like heavy into scratching for a few years, and then eventually came back to my mother's house, and my old guitar was there. And I started playing my old guitar, and even though I hadn't played it in years, it was like my mind had evolved, and I wasn't playing any of these old cover songs that I learned when I was younger. But now that I was making hip hop music, I was just creating new music
with the guitar.
The guitar, and I was like, "Whoa, this is amazing! The samples and the guitar together." So from there, I started collecting, and then I came out with my my cassette and my CD, and I started traveling. And so in my travels, I started buying instruments whenever, I used to go to Melrose in LA and just sell CDs on Melrose all day long, hang out at Jamba Juice. Me and a friend of mine would put our CD players with headphones on the table at Jamba Juice on Melrose and just put the CDs out, and we'd put a little drink in our Jamba Juice and just post up and let people sit down and listen to it. But they had like a flea market at the end of Melrose. I think they still do it, like the Fairfax flea market. But I think it's still doing it. I remember there was an accordion there. I played for like a whole hour. I was like, oh man, like I gotta sell enough. I think those were tapes. I had to sell enough tapes to buy this accordion. But so my studio has instruments from all over the world, actually. When I started traveling more, I started collecting a lot of different instruments, so you could hear it in the production just a lot of the world sounds, like you're saying. Started studying a lot of new instrumentation and cultures, and gosh, and then eventually we became music ambassadors, and we started getting sent around the world doing doing music and cultural work. So Audiopharmacy has been around. We've toured. We started in Europe, then we went to Japan, and then we went to Indonesia, Samoa, Solomon Islands, Fiji, New Zealand, Morocco, Tanzania, Oman. We've played a lot of places, Philippines, and like I said, music and art, it doesn't necessarily pay, like in a major financial way.
Yeah,
like,
sure,
like
but definitely.
But I feel like I've already lived such a blessed life from living humbly yet building community in so many different places, and really talking to people face to face rather than just being on the computer all the time and doing it that way. So I'm feel so good that I was a part of that 90s hip hop movement. I was a part of that, when that hand-to-hand combat in the streets where people are really like hustling their music hard. I was doing that. Now it's a little tricky. It's an internet game. If you want to be successful, you got to be, constantly marketing yourself online and meeting people online, contacting people online.
Also, there is the volume of music that is released and is like marketed online is so much. So it's completely another game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
totally another game.
And it's a blessing too, because then a lot of underground artists that didn't really have, the ability to push so hard, or even funds to like make their first CD or whatever, you can pretty much, record an album in your house for very cheap and put it online and, get your message heard. So, it's a blessing too, but, it can get saturated.
And what about I don't know if you're from the Bay Area, but definitely you live in the Bay Area, and you've been living here, born and raised.
No.
Born and raised. So, is this just this like territory? This part of the world. Was it inspirational for you just because it's like a multicultural and it's I mean, I'm coming from a place that is less multicultural, less community.
I hear you. I'm mixed. I'm actually my mother is Chinese from Hong Kong. My grandmother is Tibetan Buddhist, and then my father is Norwegian. And I grew up with my mother in San Jose originally, and I didn't have a lot of Chinese friends. I didn't have a lot of white friends, but there's a lot of blacks and Latinos. There's I think art was really what gave us a platform to really connected all of us, so like as the art and the music really brought us together as a very multi-ethnic community. And within that, those like subdivisions, because there could be, sometimes like one culture sticks together and another culture walks in the room, and it's like, it's like a whole room full of like segregated tribes going on. But
I mean, I see that a lot.
When we used to walk in a room and everybody would look at us like, okay, these guys are definitely artists or something, because we were all mixed. Like not each person was mixed, but there'd be a couple black folks, a couple Asian folks, so, just whatever, just all mixed up. And it's it's been a beautiful journey in the Bay Area, that that has I guess that's kind of been a thing comparably to the Midwest or somewhere where it's like way more segregated. But don't get me wrong. There's definitely racism still happening right here in the Bay, and there's still segregation happening. It's just I guess a different degree of it, and I definitely also understand that I was blessed to be born and raised in the Bay because it is a beautiful place. I spent majority of my life in San Francisco, but I'm an Oakland resident now. And for years I fought that because I really, wanted to, keep San Francisco culture alive. And, I watched a lot of my neighbors get kicked out. I watched a lot of the local cafes close down, and just mom and pop shops. And eventually Audiopharmacy I felt like we were one of the last standing OG, like POC art collectives in San Francisco, and now Little Baobab is closing down.
Baobab is sold.
Precita Eyes is still holding it down, but like they almost lost their the lease on their building last year. So it's it's constantly a struggle to live in this little bubble city. And eventually, a friend of ours was moving from a beautiful house up in Oakland, so we ended up making the jump out there. And like I explained before, how I used to sell CDs in the street all the time. I used to know everybody in the street, but at some point I would walk down the street and I don't recognize anybody anymore.
Else, yeah.
I'm like, where's all the folks at?
The phone definitely changed a lot. Yeah.
So like, much respect. Like, I know San Francisco has always been a place of constant change, and it's a very small city. So people got to fit somewhere. But the second I walked the lake at Lake Merritt, in Oakland, or just went out in Oakland, I already could feel that back in the day community vibe. I'm like, oh my God, like, yo, what's up? Yo, what, you been out here? Like, it's like
just moved.
Everybody shifted over there, and I remember in like 2000 when we had a rehearsal space on Potrero, a whole building of maybe 50 rehearsal spaces all got shut down. So we all got kicked out. It was like the .com boom or something, and yeah, those were all seeds planted. Everybody was writing on the wall and writing stuff like, I guess we're moving to Oakland, and so that was a big shift. A lot of people that were in the city doing art and just like just couldn't afford to live in these like rent prices out here, ended up moving outward to East Bay, and you gotta also give thanks to the Oakland residents for holding it down out there and giving space for that happening too. And I know a lot of people are feeling like they're getting gentrified in the East Bay now, and it's just, we'll see what happens next. But I know it's gonna push all the way out Santa Rosa and San Leandro or whatever. Just it's gonna keep going, but I guess that's just how it is,
Yeah, but the Bay Area is expanding, and definitely, if you, like you mentioned before, like where are all the homies? No, like when you walk out, you don't see more artists, no many like weird people. San Francisco was full of character. Remember? No?
Oh yeah,
was another way less. Anyway. But definitely, it's this. I mean,
it's still a beautiful city. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
I'll walk the city, any day of the week, and just be like, wow, I'm thankful to live like in the Bay and be able to access the city still, and be able to walk anywhere without having to drive. And it's just a shame that a lot of the soul of San Francisco has been pushed out and is still being pushed out.
Do you think there is like a sound of the Bay Area, or there is like one sound of the Bay Area, or in particular?
Yeah, I mean, there's the Bay definitely has its sound, but there's so many genres then too. So, I guess I guess so. You know, with the internet, everything's getting so mixed up now. But I definitely have been thankful for the Bay just being conscious. I feel like we're one of the most like aware cities, or not just cities, but just areas. So, yeah, when my hip hop group from San Jose, we were called Chaotic Souls, and when we started doing our thing, everyone, you know, I used to go to New York and you know, cats would just be like, wow, this sounds so Bay, you know, and it was it was conscious. I think the fact that we were making conscious music in 90s hip hop was
a distinctive
it was kind of like, wow, like, and even San Jose, people were like, man, I feel like San Jose is like a think tank, you know, like I think a lot of conscious hip hop was coming out of San Jose. But not just there, you know, it's hard. Every time I say one thing, I'm like, well, there's a rule that breaks that rule. So, you know, we're just generalizing. But yeah, I think the Bay is kind of like the area of more humble, conscious people in general, or has been in the past, where, you know, if you're really trying to blow up commercially, you're going to move to LA.
Another place, yeah.
You move to LA or New York and just rat race it out, you know. You know, even the actors, we got Donnie Glover and you know, rest in peace Robin Williams, and you know, I don't know, just yeah, the Bay's a good place.
Yeah, definitely, you're right. It's a good call for consciousness, and you know, I had this. So you are from the old school hip hop, no? From the golden age of hip hop, the golden era, no?
I mean, hip hop went beyond me, but you know, I definitely was the underground hip hop scene. I was a big part of in the 90s hip hop era. Yeah.
No, my question is, so if you look at the charts, at Billboard charts, hip hop right now, if you like listen to the hip hop who's making the charts, the top 40. It's mostly like trap, no? It's not like hip hop as. I mean, this is also. I would like to know what you think about that, no? Like
about trap?
The evolution of hip hop, that mainstream hip hop became, like you were talking about conscious, like message, no? The conscious message, I don't think is there, out there, like no more, no. So like this is evolution or involution of hip hop, no? As to nowadays, you know,
there's a constant just I guess in this world there's always a battle for balance, you know what I mean, and there's always going to be very you know, everyone can understand money, bitches, hoes, sex, drugs, you know what I mean? Like that's all like something that like little kids can just almost like be shocked into like being interested in, you know what I mean? So it's always gonna be like that, and we're always gonna be the minority who are bringing awareness, because awareness doesn't sell, you know? So in a sense, you have to, I was talking about being bridge builders, you have to find a way to bridge the two. You can't just hate on you know, like ignorant music either, because it's going to exist and it's a stepping stone for someone. It might also trap someone into, you know, just living that life forever. But I feel like, I feel like I can't condemn something that I'm not necessarily into. My daughter, again, you know, like she's a 13-year-old, next generation. You know, we were just yesterday, we were driving to school and we were listening to commercial radio, and Ariana Grande came on. She's talking about diamonds and things, and I want it, I got it. You know what I mean? It's it's very superficial, and with a dope beat. I love trap beats as a producer, you know, and I love like remixing, you know, stuff that kind of has like trappy feel. But yeah, the lyrical content, I had to just turn it down for a second and just say something, you know. And I told her, I was like, hey, so global warming, right? You know, we basically know that the world is like, you know, overpopulating and resources are depleting. So you would think that artists knowing the impact of art and what we create is so great, you know, you would think that the world would be pushing more conscious messages so that people like you, who are the next generation, the ones who are really going to have to deal with this mess, so that you can be motivated to change it. And she's still singing, her lips are still moving to the lyrics of the song while I'm talking. I'm like, yo, do I need to turn this all the way down? Are you hearing me? Just 1 minute of your time. Just 1 minute, you know. And she's like, I know. And then I was actually somewhat impressed that she did respond. She's like, well, This is America came out, and she's talking about Childish Gambino's song, This Is America, you know. and you know, so I was like, yeah, you know what? And, you know, I don't know. Some people like Childish Gambino. I give him respect. I think he's definitely got some genius in him. But yeah, there is actually a more like commercially accepted influx of conscious music and movies happening right now too, you know. So it's just constantly gonna be that battle. Like when I you know, and I listened to some of the ignorant stuff. I didn't turn the radio off. I turned it back on. I was like, okay, and now back to our dumbing down, you know, like let's go ahead and bump to this. Yeah. But I used to listen to garbage when I was a little kid, you know, and then you know, at some point you have to like walk those steps. You have to kind of like let it go through you, or else you're completely like blind to like this whole culture of, you know, like that music. Her and all her friends at school know the lyrics of those songs, so they can all sing it together and relate. Yeah. So it like brings that unity, but yes, it brings it over like very unconscious, superficial content, which sucks. But I don't know. I have faith that like people can find their way. They gotta find their way.
Yeah,
through it.
I mean, it's like touching the fire and you figure out the burns. Yeah. You know? Kind of like it's a metaphor, not exactly, but you know, you have to experience that to actually move on. And
yeah, when people are uncomfortable, that's when they evolve.
Yeah.
You know, like when you're a little bit uncomfortable, that's a good place to be, because you're constantly stepping it up. Like, oh wait, okay, I need to do something. I need to advance right now.
Yeah, like they say, the magic happens outside the comfort zone. So, you know, when you are uncomfortable, you start you need something. You like, it's a necessity, you know.
Yeah.
Invent, create. So,
yeah.
Talking about creation, you have something. You have something you are working to. No, we listened.
Yeah.
Probably the second song was a working project. It's a bit. And you're listening to Espresso Sesh. We are live from the Mission District, Teao Sense, from Audiopharmacy, mostly presenting his latest release, Moment, and talking about life in general, living in the Bay Area, and music and things.
Yeah. So, so I'm going to stop with Moment.
Okay.
And if folks do want to finish the album, you can pick up the vinyl at audiopharmacy.com, or you could also go to audiopharmacy.com and watch the whole project. Right now we have it on the front page of the website for a little bit. And I'm going to play you something off of... So Azim, my brother Azim.
Shut up. Yeah.
Yeah, he goes by the Cardinal Project. He
goes by, say again?
The Cardinal Project.
Cardinal Project, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, yeah.
Yeah,
we jammed together, but he told me this, yeah.
Yeah, he kind of wants to ditch the Azim thing, even though that's his birth name. And he's like, you know, we went on tour a couple months ago, and I'm like, yo, so Azim, you serious about this, the Cardinal Project? Like, so when I'm on stage, I say, give it up for the Cardinal Project? He's like, yeah, man, the Cardinal Project.
The
I'm
Cardinal
like, okay,
Project.
okay.
Yeah.
So after the show, when I'm talking to somebody and I go, "Hey, this is my boy, the Cardinal," or what? He's like, "Azim, bro, Azim." So we're working on this project. The concept is basically beats with hooks. Not all of them have hooks, but it's very beat friendly.
Hooks mean like something that sticks in your mind and you sing it for
Well,
all
like,
day long.
Well, like singers, I'm basically, I have a lot of folks that sing and are amazing singers and MCs and whatnot. So I wanted to feature them. Just you can come up with a hook is beautiful because you can have the instrumental song. If you're a beat lover, you have room to think and inspire. Just new thought, read whatever. But then when the hook is in there, you have to be so precise in your writing so that gives you a whole concept, a whole message in just few words, 2 lines or whatever. So it's actually a really, really cool project. We don't have a name for it yet, but let's see. There's so many good tunes on this one. All right, this one's pretty sweet. Ramsal is on here. Azim's playing guitar, I'm playing bass, and I produced the song. I did all the drums and whatnot, and the keys, and pretty simple tune to uplift you. It's called Leaf in the Wind.
Leaf in the Wind, the Cardinal Project.
Well, it's Teao Sense and the
and
Cardinal
the
Project. We'll see.
Shout out to Azim if he's listening to us, alright? Yeah, I see what you mean. Like beats with hook, nice sounding. Like.
So I'm gonna play. Can I play another one?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So this is another tune. This is with the crew. This has. So I'm playing the charango. There's Marcos Odara on the congas. There's the Cardinal Project on the flute. Brass Medic is gonna be on the sax, and Desiree Harp is gonna have a poem in the middle of the song.
Cool.
And then I did the production. Teao Sense, y'all. Boom.
In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue and told the tale of a new world that wasn't being used. He paved the way for settlers and missionaries to come, who viewed us as invisible beings they could build their colonies and churches on top of. They killed us with guns, germs, and steel, and cut off our food supply by slaughtering animals and scorching fields. Our bodies were sexually abused, worked like mules, and used as pawns in their military feuds. They wouldn't have survived without our knowledge of how to live off this land, and their Bill of Rights wouldn't exist without the Iroquois Confederacy's Constitution. Still, they called us savages and put a price on our heads, following manifest destiny as they moved west. They forced us to move from our traditional lands, marching us thousands of miles as we carried the dead in our hands. They herded us like cattle on the reservations, then beat our language out of us to give us an English education. They taught our tribal leaders how to look like them to improve government-to-government relations. This only made it easier for our tribal leaders to be paid off, so the corporations could push their agenda on our legislation. They shoved us onto land that no one wanted until they discovered the natural resources under our feet. And now they're trying to build oil pipelines through the water that we drink. Our people continue to be colonized across this earth, but we will not give up. The voices of our ancestors will be heard.
Andres Brass Medic right here, huh?
Killing it.
As usual.
This check. Yeah, this one right here. This was just a jam we did at our holiday party this Christmas. That's Brass Medic, just tearing it up on the sax. Ross Kadee. I'm gonna fade it down and restart it. But yeah, Ross Kadee on the keys. I'm playing the bass. Azim, the Cardinal Project, aka he's on the drums, and yeah, again Brass Medic just on the sax, man. He's ultimate doctor. Audiopharmacy check. Yeah, I hope y'all listen with headphones because a lot of intention gets put into these beats right here.
Yeah, a lot of passions as well.
So I guess we're gonna wrap it up, right?
Yeah, like 4 minutes. Yeah,
4 minutes.
3:47 right now. Yeah, live in the Mission Studio. So
okay, I'll drop. This one I call it "Offering Peace," and it's a fun track. It's got everybody on there too. Let's see.
This is some unreleased material from Audiopharmacy, Teao Sense, Brass Medic, the Cardinal Project, the KD, this, like, the whole collective.
The whole tribe.
The whole tribe.
Yeah, this is this is being premiered for the first time right now, so I hope you're all enjoying it.
Yeah, thank you for doing that here in this show, Phil.
Yeah, I'm always like, should I play my old stuff or my new stuff?
There is like a little time constraint right now. It's 3:51. We are live in the studio. Let's play like a closing song, and then we pass the mic to Astral Projection Radio Hour. It's gonna sit here at top of the hour at 4 p.m. And in the meanwhile, before that, I want to thank you so much, Theo, for coming on here and present your music, playing some unreleased stuff, talk about like a little chat about.
Don't thank me, thank my son for patiently waiting. In the room. Like,
and Pac-Man can play with
the video game. Yeah, big up Sakima, we love you.
We love you, yeah, grandissimo. It's great. Hopefully, yeah, somebody's taking care of you.
But yeah, this song right here, we're calling it right now. These are tentative names, but Marvin Bay because it's a shout out to Marvin Gaye, and you know, as just a big influencer of soul music in general. Cardinal Project started the production on this one, and I laced it up after him. So big ups to the Cardinal Project.
I see. All right.
Love to all the crew, love to all the Bay and beyond, Italy, and you know, Berlin, and all the places that we've been to as well.
Thank you, Theo. Thank you so much. And tell us a way to stay in touch with your music on the internet.
Yeah, Instagram, Audiopharmacy, Instagram, Teao Sense, TEAOSENSE. Same thing for everything else.
Cool.
Facebook, whatever. But definitely go to the website, because nobody even goes to websites no more. But we actually have a website, audiopharmacy.com.
Where you can get all the music, like physical music, digital music, posters, there are many things in there.
You can get, my lady makes these healing love sprays. They're like spritzers in the air. So like health and wellness, anything.
Anything. Yeah, like fashion, t-shirts, clothing, you know. Anything.
You want it? We got it.
Yes. Thank you, Theo, so much. Let's close with what are we playing for closing this show today?
All right, give it up to Marvin.
Marvin Gaye, yes. All right, thank you, Theo. And thank you for listening to BFF.FM Espresso Sesh. See you next week.
So